So let me do that.
All
Thank
right,
you. So sorry.
welcome to the workshop. I'm Charlie Vazquez. I'm a Bronx-based creative mindfulness instructor, and today's workshop will be focusing on just essential mindfulness practices to help you ground yourself that you can sort of take with you beyond this workshop. But we'll also be exploring um, some memoir writing, some first-person testimonial memoir writing, and in relation to meditation practice, it's important to maintain a nice upright posture. So we're going to begin with a group meditation to kind of get us all calm and centered and grounded. Okay. And the key for this is to relax. There's not a lot of doing when you meditate. You don't put excessive pressure on yourself to feel like you need to be on your tippy toes doing this perfectly. It's really, really important that once I get you set up with the posture that you relax. If you're holding on to any tension, if anything heavy is sitting with you, if you're holding on to any tension in your body, just let go. Just let go. Just sit nice and still and nice and gently. So step one, we assume a nice upright posture. And what I mean by upright is the back is nice and straight, the chest is soft and open. Okay. The head is in line with the spine so that you're not falling back or drooping forward. Okay. What we're doing is we're opening up all of the respiratory tract to facilitate the movement of air because we'll be working with the breath. Okay. So you can, if you're in a chair, you can keep your feet on the floor flat about shoulder width. You can place your hands palms down on your knees. Okay. Nice upright posture, nice soft open chest, nice and statue-like, nice and regal. Assume a very dignified posture. Okay. And step two, you can close your eyes for this. Okay. Let's take a nice deep breath in, fill the chest. Fill the chest as far as you can go within your comfort zone and hold it a second. And exhale. Exhale as fully as you can. Try to get as much of the stale air out of your lungs as possible without hurting yourself. Okay. And take a second deep breath in. When you take a deep breath in, fill the chest as far as it'll go within your comfort. If you have any respiratory issues, work with that. You shouldn't be hurting yourself. So nice full chest of air. Okay. Hold it a second and exhale. Exhale as fully as you can. Okay. Exhale anything that's been sitting with you. Exhale any negativity as fully as you can. And let's take a third deep breath in. Breathe in as far as you can go. Fill the chest as far as it'll go within your comfort. Okay. Hold it a second. Visualize something that's been sitting bad with you, something that's been heavy on your mind, and exhale. Exhale as fully as you can. Exhale as much of the stale air out of your lungs as possible. Okay. So you can resume a normal breathing rate at this point. Just breathe normally. Keep your eyes closed, maintain that nice upright posture, soft open chest. Your head should be in line with your spine as though you were looking straight ahead. Okay. You may close your eyes and just follow the movement of the air as it moves in and the air as it moves out. You're breathing at a normal rate now. Okay. Probably just your chest breathing. Notice as the body moves. Notice as the chest rises when you breathe in, and as the chest falls when you breathe out. Maybe you feel it at the tip of the nose or the belly. Most people feel it in the chest. And just keep your awareness, keep your focus on the movement of the body as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Nice and gently. Nice and gently. And just become that movement. Become that movement of air moving in, the chest expanding, air moving out. the chest collapsing. And allow yourself to relax and settle into that movement. It's very, very simple. Air comes in. For those of you joining us, nice upright posture. Air moves out. We're sitting and focusing on the movement of air moving into the body and air moving out of the body. Nice upright posture, eyes closed. Now, as you're breathing, visualize a baseball-sized sun of light, a ball of blinding warm light resting in the middle of your head. Okay? Just visualize a fist size or a baseball sized sun of hot, nurturing light resting in the center of your head. And just keep that visualization in mind for now as you're breathing gently. And imagine that ball of light moving down your body from the center of your head, down toward behind the jaw, down your neck into the throat. And imagine that ball splitting in two so that two balls of light go through each of your shoulders, all the way down each arm, past the elbows, all the way through your forearms, all the way down to your hands, and all the way to the tips of your fingers. And visualize as those balls of light reverse and move back up into the hand from the tip of the fingers, past the wrist, up through the forearms, past the elbows, up through the upper arm, up to the shoulders, and back to the throat where they become one again. And imagine that baseball-sized ball of light, of bright, nurturing sunlight moving down from your throat into the chest. From the chest, down your torso into the belly. And from the belly, it splits in two so that the ball of light goes down each of your legs from your waist into your thighs, down your legs, past the knees, through the calf muscles, past your ankles, into your feet, all the way to the tip of your toes. And visualize as those balls of light reverse from the tip of your toes, back up through the feet, past the ankles, up the calves, past the knees, up into the thighs, back toward the hips in your middle section where they become one again. And from your belly, imagine that ball of light moving back up your body to the area around your chest, the emotional center of the body. The area around the chest, let it rest there, is where we hold on to our most intense emotions: extreme joy, extreme love, extreme despair, extreme grief, extreme longing, extreme ecstasy, excitement, and so forth. Both the bright and dark emotions. This is the seat of our emotional world, the area around the chest, the area around the heart chakra. So take note of this, the emotion you're feeling the strongest there. Okay, just sit with it for a minute. Sit with it for a minute. And just take note of, as this ball of bright, blinding light is resting next to your heart at the center of your chest, make note of the emotion you're feeling strongest here. If you're feeling a few different ones, just notice which one is sitting the most intensely with you. Okay? And now you can open your eyes, grab your pen and paper or your keyboard, and write about this. Write about what that emotion means, the cause of that emotion, how it's making you feel, where it came from, whatever it is. Explore that intense emotion as it applies to you in your life in sentences. If there are other people involved in those scenarios, you can use dialogue to notate who is speaking. But explore that emotion that you're feeling most presently in your chest, in your body. Explore that on the page for the next 10 minutes, or write about something that's been sitting very intensely with you. Okay? You're not required to read this, so write courageously, write bravely. Don't hold yourself back. Don't self criticize. Don't self censor. Okay? Open and be honest and courageous on the page with that emotion. And at 11:30, we'll do a quick check-in. Okay? So just write about that intense emotion. Okay? And if that's not what's coming through, then write about something that you've been an extreme challenge or extreme joy that you've been experiencing lately. And we'll check in shortly. Okay? No self criticizing, no self censoring. Be courageous. Welcome to those of you joining us. We're in the middle of a writing prompt. We are writing about the emotion we're feeling most strongly in the area around the chest or in the body in general. So find the emotion you're feeling most presently at the moment and explore that on the page with courage. Okay? I'll be back in about 4 or 5 minutes. Again, if you're just joining us, we're writing about the emotion we're feeling most presently in the area around the chest. Okay? Or the emotion you're holding on to in your body most strongly. We'll be checking in 2 to 3 minutes. Write with courage, no self censorship. The writing prompt is in the chat box if you're just joining us. Okay, so If you just joined us, we did a quick body scan to sort of isolate a particularly strong emotion we're feeling in the area around the chest. Um, and we just sort of explored that directly on the page as applies to our lives. So, um, we don't have time really to go around and to read from things, but I'd love to hear if any of you encountered or experienced anything unique, either in the meditation or in the writing prompt, if anything unexpected came up for any of you, or what that sort of introductory experience was like. Anyone? Maybe you're still tapping away. Do we need more time to write? You can turn your mic on. It felt calming at first. Okay, cool.
I can share.
Yeah.
Um, Hi everyone, my name is Adela. I usually have my camera on, but I have this like treatment on my face and it doesn't look very pretty, so I'm gonna keep my camera off right now. um,
Your spirit's coming through.
so I I think I've mentioned this before in the group, but I practice mindfulness and I meditate every day. I really started my journey summer of 2021. And I think with this experience, it was kind of like a duality of things. So I felt very um, centered and like I'm exactly where I need to be, right? Like even coming to the workshop today, I had some like troubles, but I made it here and it felt very right for me. Like this is where I'm supposed to be. And at the same time, in my throat and my chest, I felt very heavy. And it's been this recurring thing that keeps coming up for me with someone who I'm very close with, who I'm having trouble opening up to.
Mm,
So it was interesting for me to see that even though I wasn't thinking about that situation at all, the moment I sat down in this practice, that was again one of the first things that came up for me. And this time really allowed me to write down some things that I'm hoping are going to help me start the conversation with
mm,
this person who I love and have a beautiful relationship with. Um, that I'm hoping that continuing this kind of practice and mindfulness will help me say what I need to say, in a loving but honest way. So
cool.
thank
Cool.
you for this time because I wasn't expecting that to come up for me and it did. So
Yeah.
thank you.
So that's a good thing. And usually, I mean, I don't know if your process is like mine. When sometimes I sit down and I have I have an idea in mind, and usually, if something urgent like that comes up, it winds up being even more tantalizing to work out on the page, even if it's dealing with difficult emotions. So, Adela, thank you for mentioning the duality of feeling the calm, sort of the warmer feelings, but then also as you were doing the awareness body
Hmm.
scan check-in, you noticed that you were holding on to some tension or some maybe some perceived negativity. And that's an important point because I think there's a lot of misinformation about, and I practice mindfulness in the Nyingma Kagyu Tibetan Buddhist tradition, where it's not just good vibes only. That's this Americanized
Right.
hippie thing about, we suppress negativity and we only explore positivity, and unfortunately life is not like that. Mindfulness means that we work with all of it. Okay, we work with all of it, and what you just expressed was very real, because in another setting someone may have just emphasized the positive warmer feelings and not brought up the tension or the anxiety or the apprehension. And life is both of those things. Life is both the hot and the cold. And so when we use mindfulness to develop a deeper sense of self-awareness, we become aware of our joy. We become more aware of our grief. We can't just pretend those things don't exist if we want to balance our lives out. So there's no reason not to recognize those negative emotions or the things that cause us trouble. because it usually means that there's stuff that we need to work through there. So we celebrate the joy, but also acknowledge the pain, okay? Because they kind of are two sides of the same coin. We can't really have one without the other. So thank you for that. Anyone else want to chime in? Gloria, you have your digital hand raised.
Good morning. I am suffering the after effects of daylight savings.
Oh, me robaron una hora.
I woke up feeling like I had a hangover. So I'm not ready to be seen, but Charlie, I love you. And we did our work when I was first injured in 2021. And I have to say, I had major back surgery last year. And this mindfulness that I learned from you has really carried me through this journey because, emotionally, the after effect of major back surgery has been very turbulent. So when I was meditating this morning with you, I just felt calm and a sense of centeredness. And that is a new place of being that I embrace.
Yeah.
So it was nice.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And were you able to explore? Was that what you explored on the page?
That's what I explored, because when I first started with you in 2021, I mean, those were waves of turbulence and a lot of dark emotions and just being very scared. So sitting here and feeling calm and balanced, yeah, I had to explore that, why am I feeling that? What have I confronted? What, how does it feel now to feel in charge of my life, which is very different, which is a nice feeling. And I say very different from me 2 years ago. And understanding that breathing is so important. And that has been part of my journey of healing, understanding my body and accepting what I'm going through and being okay with it and understanding the breath, always returning to breath and mindfulness. I learned that with you, Charlie.
Well, it's an honor to be with you again. So just for context for the rest of you, Gloria was part of a women's online group that I facilitated that was about women writing about their illness, women writing about the health challenges they were going through. We had cancer recovery folks, long COVID folks, and they were all sort of contending with very different health issues. And we were using meditation and memoir writing as a way to write about that as opposed to trying to run away from it. So these are things that we can do. Okay, so anyone else want to, we're coming up to the halfway point. I want to make sure if you have something urgent you want to say, please don't hold back. This is a good space to do that. If you have any questions, this is a good space to do that. Okay, this may be very new for some of you, so questions are always good. Sir Eduardo, you're up.
Very powerful. You know what? I'm gonna turn my camera on because I think that we need to normalize looking exactly as we look on a Sunday. This is it. This is it. Okay. Very powerful. Meditation has been something that has been hit and miss throughout my life. I almost feel like when I need it is when I'm too busy to really explore it, which is counterproductive, really. And it's taken me a very long time to even think about it and institute it in my practice. But today was really powerful simply because when you were leading us through it in itself, it was wonderful and relaxing. And I didn't really think about anything else. But then thereafter, I was able to really get really deep and I wrote some heavy shit, which I am very proud of. So I think I'm going to prioritize almost beginning my day with it, starting today, because now I know it works, going forward, just because it really allowed me to first almost get so relaxed and accepting of everything to then follow up and say, all right, now I can really dig. And so it worked out really well.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. That was we just put our toes in the water. So we're going to go deeper with that before we leave today. But, and Alicia's here. Alicia Santos and I go way back. It's always good to see you, love. It's always good to see you. Besitos. Kimberly, you have something you wanted to say, or?
Something with the daily savings time. I just want to tell you that I'm expecting the first kid to be born in my family, like right now. And I just like put the candle on, and with the meditation, I was just sending her vibes, good vibes, because they are fighting. Like it's not been easy. So if we can do a meditation for them, or like if like I will really appreciate it, because it's been 30 hours and they still fighting. So meditation is always a channel for me to connect with the unreal or untouchable things or untouchable person. So with the meditation that we did in the beginning, it was very calm for me because I was very anxious. So thank you for that. Always meditation is
Yeah,
it's a way to.
we'll be doing a meditation before we leave where we sort of send energy out. So that'll
Thank you.
work for your context. I'm glad you brought that up. Okay. So very good, very good. If you didn't get around to saying something, we're only halfway done, and hopefully we can figure out a way to continue to do this work in whatever way. So if you're feeling like a door is opening for you, this is good. Let that stir your creativity. Don't hold yourself back on the page. And I think for a lot of folks in our communities, and I'm speaking from experience, um, from a young age, we're taught to sort of not be seen, to be meek, to keep quiet, to stay out of the way, not to take the spotlight, not to, just be seen, not heard. And those days are over. Those days are over. Okay, we need to assume our own spotlight. We need to come forth with our own truths. That was part of the work when I met Alicia Santos back in whatever that was in the 2000s after I got back. She was working with the New York City Latino Writers Group. I was starting a writers group, and it was all about flipping the script and centering our stories, teaching people to write creatively, giving them the permission to tell their stories with courage in whatever way, in whatever forum was necessary. So I'm just encouraging you when we do these prompts, if you're feeling something very powerful and compelling, allow yourself give yourself permission to explore that as you're feeling it on the page. Don't feel like you need to water it down or self-censor, because when you write from a strong emotional place, it resonates on the page. And readers, if you ever move into when you want to start publishing your work, readers can tell when a writer is opening up and just letting it come out as they're feeling it, as opposed to watering it down and holding ourselves back, which in the creative realm, we don't want to do, okay? Especially in memoir. Memoir is about our experience. It's our turn to sort of take the mic and to speak our truth, okay? And the less watered down and the more authentic and direct that is, the more compelling it is to read. So, writing begins with what we want to say. But at some point, if you start to move into the realm of publishing, there's another person it's a transactional experience. If you're going to ask someone to take 6, 8, 12 hours out of their life to read your book, you need to take them into consideration. So I think being as open and as honest as you can is a great start in that direction. Kimberly Vargas, did you have something else you wanted to say? Or did your hand go up by accident?
No, my hand go by accident. Sorry.
All right, good. Well, we're going to move into the second meditation. So that being said, we're at the halfway point. We're doing great. Okay, we're going to go a little deeper this time. So if you weren't here the first time, just assume a nice upright posture, okay? Nice upright posture. If you are sitting in a chair, okay, it's better not to lean back. Okay, it's better to sit up. If you have a back issue, I know Gloria has back pain, so she has to lean. Some of my elderly students in the barrio need to sit back. That's okay. If you absolutely have to, that's okay. If it's not an issue for you to sit up on your own, it's better to do that. So I'm going to try to. This is the meditation pose. So it's upright but relaxed. Okay, hands or palms down on the knees. It's called relaxation pose. And the head is in line with the spine. So you're not like this, you're not like this. So it's upright, very relaxed. And you can almost take on a very regal, statuesque posture if you'd like to. Soft, open chest, right? So this is about opening up and letting go, right? No closed posture, okay? Feet about shoulder width on the floor. Just take a nice deep breath in. Follow the movement of the air as it moves into the body. Fill the chest as far as it'll go. Hold it a second and release it, okay? And try to release as much air out of the lung as possible. Try to clear all that stale air out, all that old chi out. Okay, take a second deep breath in. Fill the chest as far as you can within your comfort zone. You shouldn't be hurting yourself, okay? Fill the chest as far as you can. Hold it a second and release. Let go as much of that old air as you can. Try to clear the lungs out. And then when you're ready, take a third deep breath in, nice and full, nice and relaxed. Fill the chest, energize, brighten. Hold it a second and let go. Okay, let go. Let go, let go, let go. Empty the lungs if you can. Okay, and at this point, you can resume your normal breathing. You can close your eyes. And we're going to visualize that same baseball-sized ball of light resting in the middle of the head, behind the eyes. Imagine like the sun in the sky, but the size of a baseball, resting at the center of your head behind your eyes, okay? Just see it there. Feel the heat. Feel the hot, nurturing energy. Okay, let it fill the space of your head. And visualize as that ball moves down your head and into the neck and down to the area around your heart. Just like we did the first time. Just visualize that baseball-sized sun of hot, nurturing light and energy resting next to your heart at the center of your chest. And now visualize that baseball-sized orb expanding to take up the size of the room that you're sitting in, so that it completely envelops you and everything in your general area. And now visualize as that ball of light, which has consumed your room, expanding yet again until it consumes the entire house or building that you're sitting in. And visualize as that warm, nurturing light touches everyone that it comes into contact with. And from the room or building you're in, imagine that ball of light expanding yet again to take up the entire space of the city you're living in, so that that light touches all sentient beings within that space. And now visualize as that orb of light expands to take up the entire space of the earth, so that that warm, nurturing energy and light touches all sentient beings and creatures upon the planet. And from the size of the earth, visualize as it expands yet again to fill up the entire space of the universe, so that that warm, nurturing light touches all sentient beings and creatures everywhere. And from the size of the universe, imagine that ball of light, that orb of warm, nurturing, hot sunlight contracting to fill up the size of the earth again, the size of your city again, the size of the building or house you're in, the space of the room you're sitting in, and back down to the baseball of hot, warm sunlight that's resting next to your heart in the center of your chest. Make note of any intense feelings that are resting there, whether they're good or bad. Let's just be honest. Extreme joy, extreme suffering, extreme grief, extreme ecstasy, extreme bliss, extreme depression, whatever it is. Note what that feeling in the chest is. Maybe it's the same as the first prompt. Maybe you're finding something different there. And just breathe and meditate on that feeling for a minute. Okay, now turn to the page. Give it what you got, okay? Maybe you continue from where you left off. Maybe you're starting fresh. No self-editing. Take the meditation straight onto the page. Okay, explore that intense emotion. Explore it with courage. Don't hold yourself back. Don't self-censor. If it's the same as the first one, go deeper with it. If it's a new one, take it somewhere new. I'll give you the next 10 minutes or so. And we'll probably even have time for a third meditation. So just unleash, open up, be honest, be courageous. Okay. Hi, Luz. I just saw your message, so we'll get a third prompt in if you missed out on that. All right. Any observations, comments, or questions on this writing prompt? Or if you want to contrast that to the first one, whatever you'd like to share, anything I can do to help you? I'll explain why I'm taking this approach in just a minute. Any questions or comments?
I can share.
Yeah, please.
Yes. So I found it very hard to relax into it because I'm so wrapped up in this one particular feeling that I have of disappointment and upset with a particular person that's in my life right now. So I just kind of leaned into that and was able to write a pretty quick poem and to try and let that go a little bit somehow, some way, so it's not racking my brain the way it is.
Well, that it sounds like, I mean, what you're doing sounds pretty authentic. So if you're writing about, like you said, this feeling of disappointment or frustration, it's going to be hard to relax on the page. You want to write from, you want that emotion to come through in the writing. So if it's what you're holding on to while you're writing, then maybe the writing is a way of releasing a little bit of that, right? So the meditation is a good time to sort of try to relax and zero in on where you are at that moment, right? If you're taking an emotion like disappointment onto the page, you're going to be writing from a place of tension. So that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. That's what you want. Could you imagine like being totally zenned out and blissed out and relaxed and trying to write off a pissed off poem? Like it doesn't, you're not in that energy space, right? So it's good. What you just described is fine. Yeah, all good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. Anybody else? So I've been teaching creative writing on and off for a number of years, and I'm a writer also. So a lot of what I'm sharing with you are things that have helped me to be a little more honest on the page. Okay, and I think in the past I used to primarily focus on fiction because I was able to hide behind different characters, and I was still sorting stuff out in my psyche, and I wasn't really ready to sort of just stand naked in front of the world in memoir, which is what memoir is, right? It can be very denuding, it can be very vulnerable, very open, very exposed. And it wasn't so shortly before the pandemic that I got to a place where I was willing to write about my most difficult moments. And if I hadn't gone through those most difficult moments, I wouldn't be sitting here with you today. So a lot of the work that I do is based on the difficulties that I have been through and had to overcome. And part of this work as a practicing Buddhist is to continue to reduce my suffering as well as the suffering of as many other people as possible. So the way you explored the writing today by leading in with the emotion is what I didn't do for so long. I wish I would have, someone would have sat me down and said, start with that, because I would be much more surgical about it. I have this character in this setting, and this is the villain, and it was almost like very like the way you would put a screenplay together. You know, it was very sort of mechanical, and the emotional stuff always got sort of drowned out in the noise of all the other story elements. I discovered after I took a workshop in California, so I believe, where it was similar to what we're doing today, that if you lead with the emotion, it begins to reveal the antagonist, the conflict, the settings, everything will sort of come from that. And what it does is it infuses the writing with sort of the inner tension that we feel when we're holding on to emotions. It loads the writing with authenticity and humanity. There's an energy to emotional writing, whatever the emotion is. So don't be afraid to lead with that. because I think a lot of times we get caught up on the form, and we get caught up on what is the setting, what is the central conflict, what's the central dramatic question, who's the antagonist, what's the backstory, and when we get lost, there's the saying, not seeing the trees when you're looking at the forest, whatever that saying is. It's really easy to get really self-conscious about the story elements and then lose sight of what makes writing exciting to read in general. And what makes writing exciting to read in general, whether it's fiction or memoir, is going on a journey with some point of view character and witnessing how it is that they try to get the things that they want, how they overcome challenges, how they grow, how they make mistakes, how they fall and get up again. So being really clear about what the leading emotion is in each part of your story or your poetry, whatever form you work in, is always really good, because then you can really craft an authentic point of view, and it just sets you up with a lot of inner conflict, which will inform the outer conflict of a story. So any other comments or questions for me so far? Because I do want to get you through a proper mindfulness meditation sit. We haven't done that. We're on our way there, but I want to make sure that you get at least 10 minutes in. Any other concerns, questions, comments? No. Okay. Did anything interesting come up in the writing for any of you, or any craft related questions I can help you with if you're feeling stumped?
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
Hello. I'm just been enjoying this so much, especially I tend to write more poetry, and um it's in a format always of telling a story.
Mhm.
But now I'm just writing a story, so that's just been really it was been really good to just sit with the story instead of just being trying to cut it up into a poem and then and not say exactly what's happening. So I'm trying to figure out how to be descriptive and
Mm.
paint the scene rather
Oh,
than just being poetic.
right, right. Narrative description. So the narrative description, there's different approaches to narrative description. That's just what you see in the paragraphs, right? There was a cold, chilly morning. The birds were singing on the naked branches covered with snow. It's just narrative description. Just what is your name, Andrea? I would say for external description, when you're describing settings, when you're describing what people are wearing, what they look like, the visual sense, right? Think about the way cameras and film and television, just we don't even realize it. We're looking through the point of view of a camera. Um, just bring, another exercise would be it's fun to do, is just to take a notebook to a museum and sit in front of a painting or a sculpture or some sort of artwork and describe it. One of the other exercises is, and I could actually, we'll do a show, not tell exercise for the whole group in just a minute. But you want to make a balance, Andrea, between the narrative description, the stuff that's just in sentences that people are not speaking in dialogue. You want to strike a balance between the external setting, where people are, what they're wearing, who's there, etc., the visual world. You want to also infuse that with what you can hear, what you can smell. You want to include as many of the senses as possible. And you also, as for the external world, you also want to describe what your point of view character is feeling on the inside, but not expressing outwardly. Okay? So you want narrative description of the outside world, but also the point of view character's inside world, because they may be feeling something on the inside that they're not expressing outwardly. So you want the reader to have an idea of, what the consciousness and headspace of the main character is like, whether you do it in first or third person. Does that help you?
Yes, thank you. That was really I love the idea of the museum.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
notebook and everything that you just mentioned about.
We're gonna do that right now. So everyone, turn to a fresh page. This is a real fun one. Okay. Yes, field trip, Eduardo. Yes, I have a Met Museum membership. I'll take all of you. Um, turn to a fresh page, and we're gonna explore what's called showing, not telling. Okay. Showing, not telling. So telling would be like the policeman got up and got ready for work. Okay. Showing would be the 27-year-old Dominican American man woke up in his Washington Heights apartment, polished his medals, checked the photo of his daughter inside his hat, loaded his bullets, whatever. You actually don't just say what's going on. You describe it in action so that the reader can come to their own conclusion about it, right? So this is the way that you learn how to show, not tell. Look around your room, okay, just at an ordinary object. It could be a statue, a poster on the wall, a piece of art, a chair, a piece of furniture, an article of clothing, whatever. Just an ordinary object, or just think of an ordinary object you would see on the street, okay? Now, describe it without naming it, okay? If you're describing a car, do not use the word car. Describe the parts, what they look like, any sensory information, what things smell like, what they feel like, but do not call the name out. Do not use the name of it to describe it. Make us guess what it is, okay? And do that, right? Describe something for the next 2 or 3 minutes, and then we'll play a guessing game to see if anyone can figure out what it is. And this is a great way to develop your narrative description so that you don't just identify things by telling what they are. You learn how to describe things so that the reader can do the detective work, which is a lot more fun for them, okay? Just describe something without naming what it is, what it looks like, the parts, the colors, any other sensory information. Just another minute. And in memoir, this works great also for describing inner emotions. Rather than saying you're pissed off, you describe all of the actions that brought you there so that the reader can figure out that you're pissed off. Anybody want to share their description? Anybody want to read theirs to see if anyone can figure out what it is? No takers. That's okay. Anyway, just for each of you, it's not important. That's just sort of a side exercise. But if you want to develop your narrative description the way Andrea asked about, still writing? Okay, we'll come back to you. I don't want to spend too much time here, but this is a great exercise for all of you. If you want to get better at narrative description, try to describe things, just ordinary things. They don't have to be exciting. Try to describe things without saying what they are. And that'll really help you to learn how to paint visually with language, which is a great skill for memoir and for narrative craft in general, and fiction also. So,
sorry, is it okay if I share mine really quickly?
Yeah, please.
So I want to start with this was harder than I thought it was going to be. So I'm really excited that you introduced this to me because now I'm going to do this a lot more in my practice.
Your description will improve a lot. You'll see. But it's
yeah.
good.
So let's see if you guys can guess. I'll be quick because I know we're on a time crunch. Sitting on the windowsill, round green base, white label centered in the middle. A light shines, the smell of eucalyptus fills the room.
Oh,
What am I?
lovely. That's so much more exciting than saying there was a pot of eucalyptus sitting in the window, right?
Well,
Yeah.
it's a candle.
A candle? Oh, great. Even better. Even better. All right, cool. So that's you're moving in the right direction. So that's how you learn. That's how you build your narrative description muscles. It's just by, especially if you go to museums or if you go to places where there's really interesting things visually, sitting and describing them. We had when I did the workshop back west, we had to pick a thing out of a hat, and mine was car. So I think I said it has, four black wheels, it's made of metal and glass and steel. And it was a lot harder than I thought. But it made me work. It made me work a lot harder as a writer. So that's an exercise for you guys in general. But let's do a quick 10-minute sit. I want to do a proper mindfulness sit with you, and then we'll have a couple minutes on the other side to check in and say goodbye. Okay? Everybody sit up, please. Nice and straight. Okay. The visualization exercises we did were to sort of get you to focus inward and then outward. Okay. Let's bring our focus inward. Okay. Turn to the side so you're not looking at your computer, or close your eyes. Okay. Close your eyes for this. Nice upright posture, feet nice and flat, shoulder width on the floor. You can rest your hands, palms down on your knees. Keep your head nice and straight. Nice regal posture, nice and statuesque. Okay. Upright, not uptight. Confident, yet relaxed. And just bring your awareness to your breathing. Just regular breathing, no deep breathing. Okay. With your eyes closed, just notice as the air moves in and out of your body. Follow the sensation as the air moves in, as the chest expands, and as the chest comes down again as the air moves out. And witness as your life continues one breath at a time. Okay, we're dealing with the source here. This is no light stuff. So just sit and follow that movement of air moving in and out. As life advances, one breath in, one breath out at a time. And after I ring the bell, you'll notice that thoughts may come up, okay? Just keep bringing your awareness back to your breathing. If something comes up to distract you, or you start thinking about something from yesterday, or you start getting anxious about the future, just keep bringing your awareness back. Back to the chest expanding and falling. And anchor your attention there. Just relax into it. There's no doing here, okay? Meditation is about being. So just become that movement of breath. Become that movement of air in, air out. Of chest expanding, of chest collapsing. We're not trying to stop the thinking, just let it go as it comes. Let the thoughts come in the front door, out the back door. Don't grab onto them. Don't give them energy, don't give them attention. Just notice as they come and go, while you stay focused on the movement of air, the movement of respiration, and just become that movement. Rise and fall with the breath. Whatever comes up, let it go. Come back to the breath over and over. Keep coming back to the breath. Melt into it, settle into it, become it. Gently come back to the breath. Use the in-breath to focus and the out-breath to let go. Okay. Thank you all for joining me today. We're gonna start to wrap up. I tried to strike a balance. There's not a lot of time to go really deep. Thank you, Raisa. Cool name. Um, what I wanted to let you know was I host a group. I do host online events sometimes. Now, these days, I'm just teaching. I'm teaching in person. I'm working with recovering heroin addicts. I'm working with senior citizens. So my online stuff isn't as active. But on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to noon, I have an online. It's more of a meditation group than a writing group, but we do some writing, and it's more about the meditation discipline. So we do lots of different exercises. It was too much to do today. Today we moved in that direction. I kind of threw out like some introductory exercises But if that's something that you're interested in joining us for, the invitation's out there. I dropped my email address and my website into the chat. You may need to scroll up. charlievazquez.com. Literally, you can just find me there. You can contact me through there or at charlievazquez.com or through social media. However you can get to me. I'll be happy to send you those invites, because I think with this, if you want to maintain a steady meditation practice, it's something you kind of have to do it every day. It really needs to be a daily thing. And when you're not feeling like it, it's the best time to do it. So having that group, having that accountability, that rhythm of people who are kind of growing together, they're mostly all Latina. They're almost all Latinas in my group. So, it's a good, comfortable space, but we go deep. We go deep into it. Not like you have to become a Buddhist overnight. That's not the expectation, but that's the framework that we use. The Buddhist philosophy and discipline, you can take what you need from it. But that's kind of an exciting opportunity in case anyone is interested in going deeper with their meditation practice. That's the only online group I have right now. I don't want to give it up even though I'm really busy, because people look forward to it every Saturday morning. So I'll be happy to send that to you. And Angie, thank you as always. I'm going to write to you maybe about some summer ideas, since my schedule is going to get mellower after May. I
Okay.
have like crazy contracts right now, but I'm going to pay off all my debts from the pandemic by teaching people how to meditate and explore abstract art making. So
Wonderful.
I'm grateful to all of you for taking time out of your day to be here, and do connect with me if you'd like to take this further, and I'll discuss with Angie on the side about some possible in-person stuff that we could figure out for the summer, maybe a short little series or something.
Yeah, we could definitely do this a meditation, and our community needs it.
Yeah, and it's a great way to spend time with people, and even this is great too. I have some people don't like this format, and this saved my life during the pandemic, because I was
Yeah.
connecting to people from Europe to in the DR, all over the place. And
This is why we're still hosting it online, because we have folks here from everywhere. I don't know if Karina is still here, but she connects from Italy.
wow,
And we have people from all over the US and DR and whatnot. So removing it from the digital space I would feel horrible taking that away from people.
I can see that, and it's
Because this is what helped everyone during the pandemic. We went digital, we went on Zoom, and then it's been going on for 3 years. So there's no way that I could remove this. People will
I did when
people will send me not so kind emails. If I
Oh, I actually did I became a certified meditation teacher to the Tibet House program in the middle of the pandemic. Everybody's like, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to live long enough to finish this program, but if this is the last thing I do on this earth, I will die feeling dignified. But it was all online, and we had people from Japan, we had people from everywhere, like all.
mean, look, Alicia's in Puerto Plata.
You in Samanang?
Puerto
in Puerto
Plata.
Plata, I'm in Santo Domingo, DR.
Whoa. I want to.
But I saw the email from Angie that you were going to be facilitating and that you were going to be meditating, and that's my jam. And I was like, I have to see Charlie, so I stopped everything to sit here.
Nice. Well, when I come to PR, I'm going to figure out a way to take a ferry. I'm going to take a ferry to see you.
You don't need a ferry.
To go to DR?
Oh,
From
you mean Puerto
PR.
Rico?
From
You want
PR.
to take a
Yeah,
ferry.
From PR.
I spend all of August. I spend most of the summer in San Juan.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
beautiful.
think there is a ferry that goes from PR to
There is.
DR. I
There
don't
is,
know
there is.
where it leaves from. though.
Mayagüez,
La capital.
I think on the west
Okay.
coast. Oh, it leaves from San Juan?
No, from DR, it leaves from
Santo Domingo.
the capital.
From Santo Domingo.
I think it goes to the west coast of PR, to Mayagüez, or I'll figure it out. But I've heard about that. I've never been to DR. I want to come see you.
Come
Yeah,
see
well,
me.
Alicia has a lot going on. You should definitely go see her.
Alicia
Come.
always has a lot going on. Yes. All right, making magic happen. So it's great. Enjoy the rest of your day, and please be in touch. Okay, if you want to
Yes,
do more of
yes.
this, let me
Thank you,
know.
everyone.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Charlie.
showing
Thank
up.
you, Angie.
Bye-bye,
I hope to
Sister
see you
Angie.
next weekend. Next weekend's workshop is food writing.
Ah, I want to do
I
that.
love it.
See you next week, Charlie.
Have a good day, everyone.
Bye, everyone.